Hey everyone, this is the Casually Toxic Podcast. It is December 2nd. I'm sitting here with Ian and Cirrus as usual, except we are missing Pat this week.
Our dear leader.
Rest in peace.
Our dear host has slept in.
It's true.
I think. Is that we've lost him?
That's going to be the
way.
company line.
The company
line?
It's PR speak.
It's PR speak, yeah.
Pat had to be let go for personal reasons.
Yeah. Anything to avoid the fact that he just slept through our assigned meeting date for this podcast, but
he's gonna be fine, man.
Yeah,
he needs
he'll be
his
fine.
Z's, man.
There's a chance he might show up halfway through this.
That would be exciting.
There's a chance.
We'll see what happens. So this is probably gonna be a little bit more of a chill podcast. We're just gonna talk about what we've been playing with a kind of looser focus on news, because not a lot's happening, right?
Yeah,
No,
nothing in the news is worth,
Yeah, I mean,
Anything.
hey
It's
guys.
being a dead horse with crap.
Yeah, loot boxes.
Yeah.
What about those?
That's a
right?
thing.
Yeah,
Still going on.
Yeah, really? It's exciting stuff. So just briefly, kind of going over a little bit of the topics we're gonna be talking about. A little bit of Battlerite. Fuck that game. Mario Odyssey. Yeah, fuck that game too. Kingsway.
The GOAT, dude.
Yeah.
Like, go.
World of Final Fantasy. It's kind of whatever game. And then Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which I don't.
It's okay. It's
I don't
pretty good.
really know anything about that. So let's go into Battlerite first, which has been kind of blowing up on Steam, and people have been talking
People
about.
are real big on this lately.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
It's got a winning formula, dude.
I've heard a lot of-
It's easy to get into. It's really easy.
Yeah, I played 2 or 3 matches, and it does seem like a pretty accessible game. And I've heard a lot of people being comparing it to old school WoW arenas, or I guess modern
It's
WoW.
Yeah.
heavily based on that.
But you're right clicking to move like a MOBA.
Yeah.
No, UWASD.
But it's isometric.
And then,
it's top down.
Yeah.
My main problem with WoW arenas, I didn't play Classic or PC, so I played Wrath and shit. But healing was really always a problem. It was always
That's the huge mechanic in Battlerite, the healing. that
yeah.
people
So
really like.
in Battlerite, once you do over 40 damage, your health gets capped.
Oh,
And
so it
so-
keeps lowering your maximum health.
Exactly. So if you get if you keep on getting poked down for 10 and then you get healed, it's fine, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of abilities in that game do a good amount of damage. So a small burst and you cap somebody's HP and you don't have to worry about healers fucking healing people up for the entirety of the match and just making it super boring. I mean, the rounds are capped. It's a best of 5, and the rounds are capped at 2 minutes each. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like fighting games where it's designed to be a shorter, more intense kind of thing.
Sure, and this is still technically a MOBA, and by the definition
Yeah,
of MOBA,
technically.
correct? Because multiplayer online battle arena.
Yeah.
And it's a 3v3 format.
3v3 or 2v2.
Yeah.
And there's another game mode that's a little more like League that has
Yeah, it's
League or
some
a MOBA, where,
battlegrounds
it has
thing.
minions and stuff, but
Really?
yeah, it's it's
It's
a
a
side thing.
throwaway
It's
game
new.
mode.
It's not a thing that people play really.
Do you think they just put that in there to attract MOBA players?
maybe.
That seems
I
like
don't
a
know.
weird thing.
I haven't
think-
messed with it at all. I played one game of it and I didn't like it, and I was like,
Yeah,
not
I
doing
haven't even
this.
played one game of it. I think they just threw it in there just to have a random game mode that wasn't just arenas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly how many heroes are in this game right now, or whatever you call them, champions heroes?
I want to say 24-ish
24.
in
Let's
that
look it
range.
up.
And do you pay to unlock them?
So
or do you get them through
it's so
playing?
the way that it works is you can. It's right now. It just became free to play. That's why you're hearing a lot of buzz about it.
It was in
because
early
it's
access
been out.
before that with
with $20
Okay.
So if you get the free to play version, do you get any champs when you buy the free to play version? Do you guys know?
Ooh.
When I logged in, I could play as champion. So
Yeah,
like a
there
free-to-play
might be
rotation.
there might be free week champions on
Uh-huh.
the rotation. I think that's more likely. But as you play the game, you unlock the in-game currency, which you get pretty quickly, and then you can unlock characters with the in-game currency. But at the same time, you can still pay $20 and get all of the characters for the entire lifetime of the game.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
and that includes any characters
Yeah.
they add.
So
as
a
well?
new character just came out last week, and
Oh,
we
shit.
all got it because we paid the $20.
That's probably one of the best payment models
Yeah.
I've heard of in a long
Yeah,
time.
and then
That's
there's still
actually
really cool cosmetics that you can buy with in-game currency, and there's certain legendary cosmetics that
Yeah.
have to buy with real money. But it's I
Like
don't
what?
know. Is there not like
don't
a
think there's a
separate
legendary-
currency
I mean,
shit that
there's-
you can't buy?
There's like gems which you can only buy with like real money, but like the only thing that I see you can buy with gems is probably champions. But since we already own them, I can't see that. But also like
The boosters
chests
and
boosters,
chests, yeah.
So like I don't think you can outright buy like a legendary skin with like real money. I think you have to buy like loot boxes.
Do champions in this game fall into like typical like I don't know like how MOBA roles like contrast with like MMO roles? Is it
kinda.
like support? Is it like tank
It
DPS
kind of
and heals
so
or
Battlerite like delineates 3 different classes. So there's ranged attackers, melee attackers, and supports. But like within those things, there's like melee attackers who are like quick and nimble and have counters, and there's melee attackers who are just like fucking tanks, and there's melee attackers who have like disables and shit like that.
Sure.
And then there's the supports who are like heal heavy, shield heavy, or like disable heavy. You know,
Damage heavy.
is there
Yeah.
like made up terminologies though?
Not
for,
yet.
Like, not yet.
not by the community.
What do you mean
that
made
I've
up
seen.
terminology?
Well,
They're like that like so like you know in League of Legends before like Juggernauts was a class, right?
Oh,
People
okay.
just called like them Juggernauts, even
I
though they
got
were
you.
like top.
or
laners,
like
you know?
junglers weren't technically a thing in like MOBAs, right? Until
Yeah.
they like it was recognized by the
Yeah, the
community.
like the top mid duo bot in jungle was not a thing for
Yeah.
like the first 2 years of League.
But people still use that terminology, even though it wasn't like an official thing. I think.
Yeah, I think they created.
that's
it.
what. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. If
Yeah, I don't think
Battlerite
that, I
has-
don't think it has been lately. I don't spend a lot of time on Battlerite forums, so I couldn't say
Sure.
for sure. But I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
I haven't seen it either.
Do you? Is there any competitive stuff going on with this game
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of tournaments?
All the
or-
time.
So okay, so they're already pushing this as like
Yeah, I mean it's a lot more like, you know, Joe Schmo hosts a tournament, right? And you play it online, right? So and like you might compete for just like little things, but it's not like the studio that makes it is Stunlock Studios. I don't think they're like doing
Stunlock Studios.
Yeah.
Have they done anything before?
Yeah, they did
this?
Bloodline Champions.
Bloodline Champions.
Yeah, it was basically this game identical in every way, except it was under like a different publisher.
So they just like reused all the assets and
Yeah,
everything,
so-
and then like remade it into what Battlerite is now.
Yeah, because the publisher or whatever beforehand was like crapping on the game, and it was really like forcing some bad things and bad changes, and
Yeah.
so they they left it and they made their own game, and they basically just took everything from Bloodline Champions and they're just moving it over.
Do you have any complaints about the game right now, or like is there anything that's getting on your nerves about it, or is it just
Honestly, for a competitive PvP game, it is one of the most balanced fucking things like I've ever played. Like
Yeah, it's super balanced, and one thing I really like about it is that like, well, I guess this like falls into balance, but like all of the champs that you play like feel like fun and viable. Like
Yeah.
once you play like 3 or 5 games on them and you like figure out how their like kit works, there's nobody in the game that you're just like I lost because of I played this character. You know, it's like
I mean, to an extent, there's definitely counters to certain
yeah, there
characters.
are like counters, but like I don't know, you never feel like you should never pick this character.
Yeah.
There aren't any champs in the game who's just like never picked.
are all the abilities and like everything from the start of the game preset, or is there any like level of
They're
customization?
preset.
There's
And the customization is like it's called like the battle rights, and it's like basically you put like I don't know what you call it, like,
battle
augments on your abilities. So like, basically like most characters will have like some kind of mobility, some kind of like attack, some kind of like projectile, like a melee.
And they all
buff
kind of
and
follow this template.
They like generally.
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah, not like all the time, but like a good amount, like good enough that it's like a recognizable pattern. And so like you can put like your Battlerite lets you like augment your abilities so that like you know if you have an ability that like makes you dash, you can make and like after you dash you get like a speed boost that's like 50% speed boost. You can turn it into like 75% speed boost, or it lasts for 2 seconds instead of 1 second.
Yeah, and they're not all that cut and dry. It's not all like numbers. Like you can make it so one of your abilities like puts like a dot on the person that makes like damaging attacks afterwards.
Are people already making like flavor of the month like competitive metas for this, where they're like follow this exact format?
No,
and,
because
like...
it's always very the game's balance is based on compositions, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the reason no champion character sucks is because like any character can do really well if you just build a comp around it. So it's always going to change. You take different rights depending on different champions on the other team, right? So you see them, like you load into the game, and when you're selecting your rights, you can see, the other characters in the game. So okay, this guy is going a healer that doesn't have a ton of escape. So I want to stick to this.
So there's a choosing hero stage like in MOBA, or like I think
no, there's not like a draft pick. It's
there's
like
not a draft
You
pick.
pick your hero
Yeah.
and then you go into
So
queue.
you never know what the opposing team will play
Not
until
yet.
you get in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems like it would be an essential part of it, because like the closest thing I could think of, and I'm not sure if this is how it is at all, but the closest thing I could think of is like in early Hearthstone, like you never knew what you were going to go up against.
Right.
So your best bet was to build like a composition or a deck in this case that would be the most prepared for like the most wide array of situations, instead of like building an opposite, like building a counter to what you knew they were going to play, right? Or had a chance of what they were going to play.
Yeah, I mean, with this, it's like I'm not sure if it's exactly that
Sure.
drastic. I mean, it feels like like what Sirius was saying, every character like feels good, feels like they're worthwhile, and you can play them. So it's not like if you go double range and they have double melee and they're just gonna train you all day.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you can't win. It's just like you have to play differently, take different rights. Maybe focus more on survivability instead of just damaging.
How long are matches in this again?
Like I said, 2 minutes per round, but it's a best of 5.
Best of 5, 2
Yeah.
minutes per round.
And I
So-
mean, they usually don't even go to 2 minutes. It depends. Like if it's like a very like healing intensive kind of game,
Yeah.
where like there's a lot of poke and not a lot of all in.
So you're not really going to end up with like probably over 10-minute matches or anything. It's not like a 20 to 30 minute
No.
slog
No,
by
no,
any
no.
means. Okay.
Absolutely not. It's really fun to just like hop in, play it for a little bit, and you can keep playing or not. But like it's just like quick arena PvP action, which is like when I played WoW arenas, I really loved them. And
Yeah.
like my main complaint was just healers healing and matches lasting. God, man, it would last like 40 minutes at sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like
was ridiculous.
It's so ingrained in the WoW community that some people just enjoy that now. Like I only did any arenas back in Burning Crusade, so I don't know about the state. I generally don't. I'm not someone that really overly enjoys like MMO PvP to begin
Yeah.
with, which maybe is my distaste for Battlerite. I have no idea. I just don't play competitive games where like you have abilities basically, or you have like a hotbar. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. It's just always been a thing with me where I less likely to enjoy it.
I mean, honestly, I feel like in WoW, a lot of the supposed depth was kind of just like inflated.
Yeah.
Because everyone basically had the same rotation, right?
Yeah.
And the most complicated it got was like, all right, I'm gonna poly this guy. Okay, you gouge. Okay, now you blind. Okay, now sap. Just layering CC and shit, right, on one target. And in this game, like, you can do exactly that, but like since even your melee attacks are a skill shot, right?
Yeah.
So it's like since everything's a skill shot and some of the abilities are stronger, it feels better to like layer shit, and it's like more skillful, even though you have like a third of the abilities.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to spend more time with it. It's just something about like hotbars, and so I don't know.
I mean, you played BC WoW. What's your
but
adversity
like
to hotbars?
but like in PvE environments, I don't mind it. But then like in PvP environments, it's just never been like the draw for me.
Okay,
in
that's fair.
any PvP environment, that's why I prefer games like Counter-Strike or Rocket League or whatever. Like things without like rotations, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah,
It's just
I've
like,
always had distaste for it, but I mean, I can recognize that this game is definitely filling a niche for like, I guess, a bigger community of people that I would have expected that like enjoyed WoW arenas.
well, because it's
but-
like it's also just like if I feel like having League of Legends combat or Dota style combat or whatever, and like having it be a deeper experience, and then also cutting out all the bullshit with like CS and whatever.
Yeah,
And just have it condensed and not play 45 minutes of a match.
yeah. I mean, I guess if this is a distilled portion of the team fights and
Yeah.
MOBA, also I guess it appeals to that audience as well as like the old WoW arena audience as well.
Yeah, I don't know. And also, it feels good to be able to like carry, because it's 2v2 and 3v3. It's like naturally smaller people means you can have a higher impact.
I do like that. I like competitive games where like you as an individual
Yeah.
can have a higher impact.
So, the only problem with the game, I guess competitively, is that 2v2 is unbalanced as all hell. Like,
Why? What makes it unbalanced?
because like, it range characters suck in it, because range characters can get chased down and they need somebody to peel from, like at some point, right? So a lot of the 2v2 right now is just double melee, and then you just like Mongo go crazy, try and just train into them, right?
Just like blitz it.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
So in threes, because you'll usually have a support and like obviously another player, it's much easier to peel, and so there's like a lot more diversity.
Okay. Do you have any closing thoughts on this for either of you for Battlerite? You guys gonna keep playing it or?
Definitely gonna
fucking
keep
absolutely.
playing it, and
Keep
it's
playing.
free to play, so you should give it a shot.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's
I
free.
like I said,
No,
I
just like
yeah.
anybody who's listening. Like,
Yeah, I'll probably play a few more matches if I get around to it.
you should play with us.
I don't play games with you guys. That's like breaking all the rules. I can't do that. Like I play games alone, and then I come here and talk about my experiences with completely different games.
I know, but I mean, like, to enjoy the game, man, you gotta get
Yeah,
carried.
it's a team game. You got to play
See,
with friends.
Here's the thing, and we were talking about this a little bit before we got on the podcast, is you like games as a service, and a lot of people like games as a service, but, like, Rocket League is that game for me, and if I play any more games like that, or, like, try to take them seriously even in the slightest context, that's going to take my time away from experiencing other games, which I don't want.
You could just take it away from Rocket League.
I can't take away from Rocket League,
I mean,
right?
you could.
Like, you can't... Can you take it away from League of Legends?
Yeah, I have been taken away from League of Legends.
But does that ever make you feel bad? Do you ever feel guilty?
No, because
Okay.
I'm enjoying my time.
Okay, see, I feel guilty because like Rocket League is love,
Cheating
Rocket League
on
is
life.
It's an
life.
addiction,
Yeah, I'm
is
cheating
what
on
it
Rocket
is.
League, like because it's like the sunk cost fallacy, right? Like I put so much time into
The
it.
what?
Sunk
cost
cost
fallacy?
fallacy.
All right, you're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Like when you put a certain amount of time or money into something, right? I'm trying to think of how to explain.
It's like a sinking ship. Like
Yeah.
it's something that you don't want to do, but you've
Okay.
already put so much
much
time
time
and
into it,
effort into
yeah.
it. You think like
You
I
might
might
as
as well
well do
finish
it.
it, but that's stupid. You should just stop.
Yeah,
if you're not enjoying it,
Yeah.
you should stop.
I mean, that's the thing with Rocket League is
You know,
like
I'm
still,
stop-
Like
I'm
if you're
quitting
watching
the
if you're
podcast.
watching like a shitty
Fine.
anime, right?
Right.
And like by episode 4, it's still shitty, and you're like, but I'm already 4 episodes in. Let's see if it gets better, and it never does. And you just watch the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you should have just quit at episode 4 when you decided it was not good.
I got
yeah,
you.
but here's the thing. Like with Rocket League, I still enjoy it, but also I'm like
Yeah.
I've put in closing in on 1,000 hours, and like I'm very high ranked in it. And if I stop practicing weekly, then I will start dropping. It's like everything that I've worked for, which is where the
Yeah.
sunk
But what
cost
do you,
part.
I mean,
Yeah,
are
it's
you
a
trying to
sunk
work
cost.
for like what? Like you're trying to like you're trying to compete in the RLCS?
Well, that's the thing.
I
It's a
mean-
fallacy because it doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
your emotions don't care
Yeah.
about logic.
Right.
Yeah, there's less logic to it, but like
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, well, if
Yeah.
I ever want to
It's
hit,
technically a gambling fallacy. It's like I've already lost so much money. I've already put
Yeah.
so much stuff into this specific slot machine. I'm going to keep putting it. I'm going to win eventually. I can't quit. I put so much in already.
Yeah.
You know, like it makes no sense. That's why it's a fallacy.
yeah. And in my specific
More you know.
in my specific situation, it's like I will lose any hope I ever have of hitting champion. Like I want to hit like the top ranks, and if I stop practicing weekly, if I need to at least maintain where I'm at, or I'm never gonna hit champion, Ian. I mean, what am I gonna do if I don't?
What
hit
rank are
champion?
you right now?
Diamond 3 and standard, Diamond 2.9 basically.
Okay, so diamond.
Yeah, mid-high diamond.
And what's after diamond?
champion? And that's what I fucking need. That's what I want in this world, is to be a goddamn Rocket League champion.
Don't worry, baby, I'll carry you. Just let me
Yeah,
learn how to
whatever.
be.
Whatever. Like, I have one friend that our schedules don't sync up, but he's at the same place. Jandy, I think you know him.
Yeah.
You might have met him once.
I have.
Might tell him to listen to this now that I brought him up. Anyway, and he's around where I'm at, but our playtimes never sync up. So I'm always solo queuing too, which just like turns it. In.
Right.
I'm solo queuing my way to champion.
So you're just spamming nice shot over and over. Great pass.
No, I don't kind of. Yeah. Rocket League upper level. We weren't planning on talking about this, but anyway.
Dude, this podcast
Yeah, we're just
isn't
gonna.
a plan.
We're,
all right?
no,
we're just roll with this shit.
fucking shouting shit into mics. Rocket League's community is incredibly toxic up until you get into like higher ranks, which is probably true for like PUBG or like other competitive games too. Where like if you make it that far and you've put in that much time and suffered that much, I find that people have more respect for other people as players, because like everyone plays flawlessly. It's just they make one slip up, and like you know that you're capable of making that slip up.
Yeah, it just
and I
happens.
don't see like people nearly as much like.
People in League are shitty all
Really?
the way top
All
to
the
bottom.
way to the top,
All
dude.
it's full of 100% shit.
Really?
All the way through.
The only difference is once you get to the top, you've just encountered so much shit that it just doesn't phase you anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
the thing
okay.
about League is that, like, to keep sane, you just have to, like, believe everyone else is retarded every time you lose. Like, you just have to be, like, everyone else is garbage,
Yeah.
and the only reason I'm not a challenger
Yeah.
is because of them. And so, like, when you get to like that top level of league, it's like everybody in the game is really good, and every time anybody else fucks up or they lose, they're just like,
I imagine that part of that also is 30-minute matches where Rocket League's
the games are way
matches,
longer, and also you have more teammates, so more shit
Yeah.
can go wrong. Like if you think about it as like having 5 players on your team, you are only in control of 20% of the game, and your teammates are in control of 80% of the game.
I mean, kind of, but like different roles have higher impacts.
Yeah, but still, like, if you go like 15-0 in your lane, in mid lane or whatever,
Right.
and your jungler is just getting fucking destroyed 3 levels behind, and your top laner's feeding, and your bot lane is doing okay, you still.
I mean, there's
can lose the
unwinnable
game.
games
Yeah.
for sure, but you can definitely have a higher impact on like.
Yeah, you can have a
depending on-
higher impact than other people on your team, but you still can't have a higher impact than your whole team combined.
Oh yeah, for sure.
See, in Rocket League, like, everyone, like, if someone does something really cool against me and I lose a match, even in ranked, but it looked fucking cool, I'm, like, happy for
My
them.
controller's out the window at that point.
No, see, I'm, like, happy
How
for my
dare you style
I'm
them.
happy for my opponent because I'm just like, that looked amazing. Like, I'm really, and I feel like that sense of appreciation for your opponent actually exists at like a high level, and it's weird that people got more polite the more I played, and I just, but I know at the lower levels it's still just like where Ian lives, it's garbage.
Like, it's because I just solo queued for so long.
Yeah.
And I just did like the 1v1 that I just hate.
Oh
the
well,
game.
1v1s in Rocket League are just
I just hate the game.
horribly
I can't
toxic.
even go back to it, man.
Don't
I have-
play
I have-
1v1s.
I have
Why'd you play 1v1s?
Nightmares of just kickoff losing instantly.
That was your own fault for queuing for
Nightmares.
ones. I don't know why you would queue for ones.
I don't know, man. Just because I didn't want to like drag down my team. You know, like I wanted to learn the game.
Ones is a different game.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying is I wanted to like I didn't know at the time how stupid it was, so I just
Yeah.
wanted to learn the game without dragging down my teammates. And then
I mean, ones is a good way to learn in the sense that like every mistake you will ever make will
I
get.
can learn patience. In
Yeah,
ones.
you can learn patience. But talking about something that's a little bit less enraging and some would describe as pure joy. Moving over to something that's a little bit more joyful than competitive games and toxicity and gaming in general.
There's nothing more joyful than toxicity. I don't know what you're
I
talking
mean, for some people, I guess that's true. If they're dishing it out,
about.
they're
Casually
feeling good.
toxic, man. We
Yeah,
are
we're-
toxic by
Yeah,
nature.
but we're not like dedicated to toxicity. We're casually toxic. It's like I might call you an idiot, or I might say you suck at games.
Right.
But like I'm not gonna scream like obscenities at you.
Right.
Probably, depending on what you do.
Uh-huh.
Going back Rocket League, we're playing Rocket League.
I mean, if you
together.
play a real
Yeah.
game,
I
you
would
know.
probably be screeching at
Remember,
you.
you're going to talk about a game?
I was going to talk about the game, but instead I'd rather define what casually toxic really means to both us and the audience. What is casually toxic?
I think it's what you want it to mean.
It's what you want.
What
okay.
each
It's in your
individual
heart,
wants
dude.
it to mean.
Look
yeah.
inside.
That's fair. More joy. Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey? Mario Odyssey. What's the official name for this
Yeah,
game?
Super
Mario Odyssey. So I don't own a Switch, and over Thanksgiving break, I was staying at my girlfriend's for the most part, and then I realized her roommate had a Switch, and our producer Scotty just pulled out his Switch, and he's playing Mario Odyssey.
Because it's that good, dude.
Because it's that fucking good. But I realized her roommates were out of town for Thanksgiving, and then I walk over the Switch. I didn't know what games they had on it. I was just like, I want to fuck around with Switch. And then I saw Mario Odyssey was on it, and then like the next 48 hours of my life were just playing this game.
Yeah.
And this game, I feel like it deserved the 10s that it got in almost every review site, because everything that it does really well. Like, there's the only complaint that I could possibly have against the game is that it didn't try to do that much. Like, some of the kingdoms are small, the game can be completed pretty quickly, and it was pretty easy. I found the game very easy. I don't know about you, Cirrus.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Like,
what
I
do you
feel like
mean by easy?
I just like breezed through it. Like, I never really felt any level of challenge, and maybe I've just forgotten like how other Mario
Yeah,
games.
that's what I'm saying. Like, did you play like Sunshine or 64?
I
What's that like?
played 64. I played a little bit of Sunshine, but I played 64 multiple times. I played Super Mario World. And I always felt like there was a difficulty there that wasn't really present.
So Super Mario World is definitely like a whole nother beast. It's crazy hard if you play the Rainbow Road levels, especially. But like I don't know, this one has like the tough like the little rooms that you go into.
There was one room that I went in that was very
and
hard.
Also if I recall correctly, you did not play very far after you beat the story, right?
I did a few more moons in some of the kingdoms. I went back some of the kingdoms and did like some of the bonus moons.
The bonus stuff that happens after, like all the stuff you do after you beat the story, is significantly harder. And that has been a trend in the past several Mario games. I know that like the the new Super Mario Brothers series, like once you beat the story mode, which is like pretty easy, and it's just like I think it's like 8 worlds, you know.
Yeah.
After that, you get like 8 more worlds, and those are like significantly harder. And that's what Mario has been doing to like make this compromise between like, you know, games don't need to be this hard, you know, anymore as they used to be, and like we know that we still have hardcore fans who want to play this, and it's not all just like, you know, a 12-year-old getting his first Mario game.
Yeah,
it's like people who've been playing since the 80s.
Yeah,
know?
they made Breath of the Wild basically Dark Souls, but
yeah,
sure. But I guess once again it's just a kind of a nitpicky thing. I just didn't feel like challenged, but even though I didn't feel challenged throughout at least playing the main story, I was still 100% engaged.
I mean, I guess I didn't feel that challenge, but I didn't mind because I was just having fun exploring the world, and that's like a design choice that they made. I remember them talking about it at like E3 or some kind of, you know, press thing before the game came out, that they're talking about how like they purposefully made it really hard to get a game over in the game, because when you die, you just lose 10 coins, and coins are just everywhere. You're drowning in coins. It's not a big deal to lose 10 coins. And so, like, the point of that is because they want you to not be afraid to, like, go and explore shit or, like, try to make, like, a crazy jump that, like, if you don't make it, you'll die.
Sure.
You know? Because they want you to be able to have this freedom to explore and not be afraid of, like, you know, I need to conserve my lives so that I can get to the next world, or I need to do this and that. So that was, like, a thing that they did, you know, on purpose. And I think that, like, worked, because I remember, like, just recently when I went back to try and get 100% on the desert level, like just like running around that desert is like so great. There's so much going on. There's like all these characters. There's like secrets all around the place.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know. It has like so much to it, and that's just like one world. And like, it's so
one of my like just kind of initial like gut criticisms was going to be these kingdoms are really small. Like, and then once I kind of revisited them, I saw that, there is a lot of secrets, and there is a lot of content here that isn't overly evident.
Yeah, it really pays to, like, just, like, take your time in the world. Like, the game is way more fun, like, the slower you take it.
Yeah, like, and because it wasn't my Switch.
Yeah, I know you were like pressed for time.
Yeah,
like,
I was pressed for time with it,
Yeah.
and I was like, I definitely want to at least see the main story through, and then I still get some time here and there.
Yeah,
where
I'm sure you still had fun with it, but like to me, like the most fun parts of the game were the challenge rooms, which has always been like my favorite parts of the game since like Sunshine, when you had to like do the levels without your pack.
Yeah,
that's like the most fun.
I
Mario
did
to
one
me.
challenge room in like the second or third, like the Wood Kingdom, and then there was another one I think in this. I don't want to say anything too spoilerly because it's like it's a later kingdom. And
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about.
But there was one where it was like a bunch of like spinning objects, and that one I struggled with, and that was like the only time in like maybe the roughly 15 hours I spent with the game where I was like stuck.
Yeah, to me those rooms were like the most fun. Like as soon as I unlocked all the bonus moons, like I just went to all the places and did the like challenge rooms first, because I was like, it's the most fun part of the game to me, because it's just like the pure platforming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. I love Mario Odyssey. It does like everything it wants to do. It does it flawlessly.
And that's kind of the conclusion eventually I reach is like everything it does well. It makes sense I got 10 out of 10s because it nails it. I guess my only question now is like whether or not they do an Odyssey 2. Do we see that in the Switch's
They
life?
could. It will definitely. There will definitely be another Mario on the Switch's lifespan. I say that, you know, just totally.
Yeah,
you
got
know, just
insider
feel that way.
information.
yeah, you just feel, but that's understandable.
There will definitely be another Mario, like mainline Mario platformer on the Switch.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it'll be Odyssey 2. I mean, they could do it, but I feel like I don't know, they would have more fun going for like a whole another angle.
I just don't know where they go from there, because it's
a thing that I've seen actually is I still watch like Mario 64 speedruns on Twitch a good bit. And, like, people make the joke all the time when you're, like, jumping around in Mario 64. They're just like, why can't I throw Cappy? Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? And it's just, like, it is kind of true that it's, like, Cappy really, like, changes the movement game a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so, like, I wonder if Cappy's going to be, like, a mainstay in, like, future Mario.
I think it has to
3D
be.
Mario
yeah.
games. Because it's, like, it feels so good running around with Cappy. And, like, the capturing part is fun. And it really does add, like, a whole new dimension to the game that you never had before. Like, I remember when I was first playing through the game, and you get to that little, like, swamp area, and you control those guys who like make the accordion noise, and you like stretch across.
Yes, that was my favorite mechanic. That was like my favorite mechanic.
So much fun to me to like play that shit. And I was like, you could never do this in any other Mario game. Yeah, like it's so.
That
crazy.
was probably in a way that almost was a little disappointing, because that was the coolest thing to me, and then like none of the other abilities like lived up to like how fun.
Because I really like that one, and I really like the fish that are like inside the bubbles. That like jet stream and you have to like go around.
Oh, I still didn't like that as much as because I feel like all the solutions you could come up with, the stretchy things, were just like more interesting.
Yeah,
than
you could
the
do
bubbles.
it. Yeah, you have more freedom with it. Well, the bubble guys were fun, especially there's a like a challenge room in there where you play as like that bubble fish.
Oh, really?
And so you have to like perfectly get your dashes to like refill the water as you're like jumping across shit. It's really fun.
Yeah. But I guess what justifies it as a 10 out of 10 game in a lot of ways, too, is just the fact that when I think about it, I can't really think of anything they should fix, and also I can't think of anything they could add to make it better, which, again, leads me back to the question, is like, what do they do now? Because it's just such, like, a flawless game. I almost feel like they just leave it alone and like may add content over time and then revisit it.
I don't know.
Like,
They'll do something. That's just like fucking what Nintendo does.
I guess,
with their like mainline IPs. Like that's just what they do. I don't know. Well, there's guaranteed a mainline Pokemon game and Metroid, and now they just announced the Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming out. Or I don't know if it's 5, but it's a new Shin Megami Tensei game.
I've never played those.
So Persona is actually like a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it has combat like basically the same as Persona. It's just like a little more serious and like edgy. Because it's like real life. So if you felt that Persona was a little too anime, you might like Shin Megami Tensei
didn't, but also
more.
I like stupid anime games.
Yeah,
so
no, I
fine.
fucking love it. That's like one of my favorite things. Like I'm like playing an anime.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah.
But SMT is like I really like it, and I'm looking forward to that coming out on the Switch too. I think that'll be really good. That is more of a niche game.
Sure.
And the Xenoblade games come out. People are like really hyped
that just
for
came
it.
out.
Or it just
right?
came out.
Yeah,
and it's got like 9s and 10s. I think.
Well, I don't know. I read a lot of GameSpot, like Shoot Me For or whatever, but they gave it a 7, so I don't know. I mean, it seems like a game I'd enjoy anyway, just because like I'll give JRPGs a lot.
That's the
I'll
thing,
forgive
like,
a lot.
Yeah,
of
that's
shit.
the thing is like there might be some shit in there that's just like look, it's just a JRPG.
Yeah,
man. Like
it's
if
just
there's
like,
some shit in there, it's just gonna happen.
Like
right?
you know what you're getting. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to.
It's
have,
like it's not gonna be great, but it's also gonna be like an 80-hour game. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of anime, you guys were talking about something called Made in Abyss earlier.
Made
I have
in Abyss,
no idea
dude.
what this
Oh my
is.
God.
What the fuck is
so
this?
it aired last season. Anime comes out in like seasons: fall, spring, winter.
Like
summer,
the rest of television?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Thank
Sure.
you for
But,
defining TV television for me. I appreciate it.
I don't know. Not all TV is like that.
For
not
our
all.
listeners out there, man.
that
now
don't
they
watch
know.
television.
Yeah.
We're an information podcast
I'm just giving
now,
you guys
boys.
shit. Go ahead and talk about it.
So it came out last season, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of people are talking about it. It's based on a manga that is still currently running.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about like this like town is like built around this like abyss. It's just like this fucking
Like a
hole
giant
in the
hole.
ground
Mm-hmm.
that like goes to the center of the planet. I'm not gonna say Earth. I don't know where it takes place.
Okay.
But
Undisclosed planet.
yeah, just like place that looks like Earth. There's no aliens or anything, so it's just like humans. And
What like kind of is the time? Is it like
it's
fantasy?
It's,
Yeah,
like,
fantasy.
it's a
Okay.
fantasy. It's a fantasy setting.
It's
Okay.
like fantasy, not like sword art kind of bullshit where it's like, and you're transported to a fantasy
Sure.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantasy all the way through.
Yeah, the art style is really great.
Holy
It's a
shit.
beautiful to look at. Some people are put off by the character designs because they look kind of like childish, but
Chibi-ish.
they're like
Whatever.
chibi, but like I still like it, and I think it really plays into it. Like as you like watch the show and the way it turns, like you'll like it more.
Yeah, and also I think it's definitely more so because they're like children. Because you notice the adults.
Yeah, the main
like,
characters
normal.
are children.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is like they live in this town around the abyss, and there's people who go like down the abyss. They're called like cave raiders, and they go down there and they find these relics that are like magic items that they bring back and use to like turn into technology because they live in like medieval sort of ish times. It's like fantasy times,
Sure.
right? So you know, the standard of living isn't like crazy high for people there. So
Yeah.
like they get this technology out of the abyss and come back, and the abyss has like several
Like
layers.
layers.
I'm not gonna say how many, I don't remember, but it has like layers to it. And as you go further down, there's like crazier monsters that become more hostile, and there's this thing that they call like the curse of the abyss. And what it is like as you go down, you like acclimate to the abyss, and when you come up rapidly, it can like you get like these effects of the abyss.
So like
It's not even rapidly. It's just like
it's like when you ascend, not even
Yeah.
rapidly. When you ascend out of the
Okay.
abyss.
so
So
like
does like ascending slower? Do they
No.
deal with that? Okay.
I mean like so I mean no, it's not so far. There's only one season. So like
Okay.
the like you were saying you go down and you like look for relics or whatever. So the first layer where like you kind of get introduced to the characters, you know, you see them come up and like some of them are like vomiting or whatever, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you just get like nausea and
yeah,
stuff
it's like, the
that,
beginning
dizziness.
layer, but like you keep going deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and
And-
there's like a certain point they like say this right at the beginning. There's like a certain point where it's like if you go past like the 5th layer, like you straight up you can't
You
come
can't
back.
go
You
back.
will die.
Okay.
You know.
So it's like I've never seen a show. I mean, okay, like I don't watch a ton of anime, right?
Sure.
So I try and watch like the ones that people universally think are good. And honestly, I didn't like. I heard this was like good, but it wasn't like I heard it from a lot of people. I just kind of on a whim watched it,
Uh-huh.
and I've never almost instantaneously just been like so filled with like mystery and like adventure at the same time.
Cool.
You
So
know?
it's kind of like, is it? What's the tone? Is it super dark or like kinda a little bit more
Adventure.
light? Okay, lighthearted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like, God, what did I? It's a really popular anime, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh,
Is it
Hunter
kind of
Yeah, it has a similar tone to
similar
that.
tone
Yeah.
to that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But it is so worth a watch.
Yeah,
I mean, like
really good.
I was just surprised at like every turn, and I mean, like just like he was saying, it looks fantastic, and the design was just
Yeah.
amazing. And seeing like all these new like environments and
Yeah, it
creatures or whatever.
really. So like in anime right now, if you like watch a lot of anime, you'll know that like the isekai genre, which is like the like you know you wake up and you're like trapped in your video game or trapped in an
Sure.
MMO, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like really popular right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anime that's doing
Because
that.
of sword art.
Yeah, Sword Art started it, and now everyone else is just like, oh, well, if we just do that, then people will like it. And
Sure.
there are other good
Starting
ones.
with the great classic
Yeah.
Digimon.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
There are other like good ones, right? But it's like right now, it's like one of the most popular genres of anime. And like every season, there's like 5 or 6 of them that come out.
Uh-huh.
But this one is not an isekai, and it has such a feeling that you're like playing like an old
That's what I
Final
was
Fantasy,
really
like you're playing
gonna
Final
ask.
Fantasy 4.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like. Like
Yeah.
the art style and like the way that they talk about like how you have to like fight the monsters down there. and,
Feels like
getting
an old
weapons and
school
stuff.
JRPG.
It feels like an
Yeah.
old
Like a
school
moving-
JRPG, like a Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger, something like that. Like it's so good.
Did you guys, just out of curiosity, do you guys ever play Breath of Fire on SNES?
I did not.
That's
No.
like my staple, like SNES JRPG. Just in terms of like, there's a lot of artwork associated with
Yeah.
this stuff. I'm kind of wondering if
Yeah.
like this mirrors.
Yeah,
it
you know
up.
what I think also helps play into that feeling is that like with those old JRPGs and like just old games in general, you used to get like the fucking booklet that would have art in it,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
and you could look at these like really high detailed art that they couldn't show in the game because it can't like show such
Yeah,
high
can't render
resolution,
it. Yeah.
you know. And so like this show will have that like during the little I forget the fucking name for it, but like when they show the little breaks like where there should be a commercial but we're watching it online so there's no commercials like and it shows like a drawing of like a monster, like a relic or an abyss, and it like it feels like you're looking in the back of like your game manual that's like this monster that like you only find in the cave past level 70s, like some
Yeah.
crazy shit, you know. It's really cool.
It's so good.
Is
man.
there a frog with a sword?
No.
Okay, just
that's
wondering. Once again,
No.
staple image from like SNES era, like JRPGs was like
Mm-hmm.
frog knights with swords. I don't know why that is. That's just a memory I have of SNES or JRPGs. So that was our anime minute brought to you by Casually Toxic, and we're going to continue with a slight spotlight on Sirius here. What the fuck is Kingsway? I know you're busy
Kingsway.
watching soccer over there, but we
I'm not
gotta
busy, don't worry,
we gotta
game's
know what
over.
Kingsway is.
So Kingsway is fucking fantastic, dude. I went and played it over at a friend's house, and then immediately went home and bought it. It's $10. I paid $7.50 on the Humble store.
Ooh,
Holy
shit.
I've
never bought anything
man's
off the Humble
frugal.
Yeah,
store.
I make deals, man. You think Trump's got deals? Talk to me. Yeah, so it's a little indie game. It's published by Adult Swim. It's made by, some other guys whose name I don't know. But the game is fucking hilarious and a lot of fun. So what it is it's a roguelike. So, like, you pick a character, you pick a class, you try to make it to the king's castle and fight the big monster and win the game. And that'll take you, like... if you did it fast, you could probably do it in, like, less than an hour. If you're really good.
Yeah.
But it took me, like... 4 hours, I'd say, on my first like winning playthrough. So the like hook of this game, the gimmick is that the UI looks like Windows 95.
Okay.
And it's hilarious. So what happens is when you turn on the game, like it looks like you were like just looking at a Windows 95 home screen, and you have to like open these applications, or back in the day they were called programs.
Programs.
Open these programs that are on the left, and like they're like, it's like messages, which is where you get like the guild sends you like your quest. It's like, go to the king's castle, and it looks like Windows Outlook like from 95, like, and the other ones are like my bag, so you have to like open up your bag and then like look at the inventory inside of it, and then one is like the world that like you play in, and the other one's like your character stat screen, and all of these have like a set like dimension. And you have to, like, a big part of the game is, like, screen management. Really? And you have to, like, have the screens, like, all put around, like, on your monitor, the, like, mini screens so that you can see what's happening. Because, like, a big thing that will happen is, so if you have to use a potion or a mana potion, you have to double-click your bag to open the bag. Then you have to double-click the potion to open the potion. And then click on use the potion to use the potion while you're in real-time combat.
So this is going to like go down a hole I probably don't want to go down with this, but I'm going to ask anyway. Does the game have like resolutions in game, or like can you change the screen space available to you?
No, it's set. Like it's set. You can't change the screen space. So like if you're playing on like 4K,
like, does this have the features
you're
of
not
like
better
an
than
OS?
playing on 720.
Can
yeah.
you like upgrade to like 1080p
No.
to get more screen space?
What you can unlock. So like when you like go through a run, you get gems and you can unlock shit. You can unlock keyboard shortcuts. So you can unlock like push B to open your bag, push escape to close windows, because otherwise you have to click on the X's to close windows and stuff.
So what's like that beyond like I guess this OS layer to it? What's like the graphical component of the game? Because like you're on Quest, right? Is there like a world that?
So
you
what
see?
it is it looks like a game that would have come out on like Windows 95, right?
Okay.
So it's like
So
these like
a DOS
pixelated,
game?
yeah, kind of like a DOS game. So it's like it shows you like this overworld, and there's like nodes all around, which will be like a town, or just like these little like gold like places. They're like little gold circles that, like you click on and you travel to, and so you click on a place and you travel to it, and like it picks up like a little box that looks like a loading screen from Windows 95, like the little blue squares like fill up the loading screen, and that's how long it takes you to walk to that next place. And as you're walking, you have a chance to come into encounters with enemies.
Okay.
And then once you get to the place, like a chance for a random encounter will happen with like a quest, like you'll find like a merchant, or like you can help a citizen who's in trouble, and then if you help him, he tells you like where a secret treasure is or something. But the combat is really fun too. So what happens is like as you're walking along, or if you're in a dungeon, like a random encounter will just pop up, and you get like a new window that pops up, and depending on how tough or far into the game you are, the box where the enemy is in will move around the screen, and you have to click on the window while it's like moving around the screen, and you have to click like block and like attack. So you have to block and unblock and attack. So if you're playing like one of the melee classes, so what you have to do is like attack, and then you see like their bar going up before they can do an action, and you have the same bar. So like if you have a really high attack speed, you just like mash attack and then turn on block while they're blocking, and then like they'll like use like spells or stuff, or like throw fireballs, and you have to like when they throw a fireball, another window pops up with a fireball and a little button on it that says avoid. And you have to like move your mouse, click on avoid, move back to like the combat screen, and like make sure you're still blocking and stuff. It gets like pretty hectic, and like multiple enemies will pop up, so you have like 3 windows just like furiously like spinning on your screen, and you're trying to like click all this shit while it moves away from you. It's a lot of fun.
How'd you hear about this?
I played it at a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Hey, you should buy it. It's on sale on the Humble Store," and I got it.
Okay, and this was published by Adult Swim.
Published by Adult Swim. I don't remember the name of the guys who made it.
But it's $10 on Steam.
Yeah, it's $10. It's a lot of fun, and it's got like a lot of replayability. It's a roguelike. There's multiple endings. Every time you beat the game with like one of the special endings, you unlock like 2 or 3 new classes. And like the classes, you can really like change the way that you play, and like, you know, there's random drops because it's a roguelike, so like you can like get like good shit you never had before, and like, you know, change your run up entirely. But it's really good, and for $10, it's a lot of fun, really cheap.
Cool, and that's for anyone listening, Kingsway.
Yeah.
Spelled how it sounds, $10 on Steam. Check it out, based on Cirrus recommendation.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is like 10 out of 10. Super
is
good.
Is it like all
it's,
like MIDI?
It's like 18-bit MIDI,
yeah.
18-bit, 16-bit MIDI,
whatever.
Yeah, but it's it's awesome, really good.
Cool. So, a game I've been I don't want to dwell too long on it because I don't have that much to say about it yet, other than like it's the most anime-ass anime game I've played in a long time. Is World of Final Fantasy. Came out on PC. In this game, you can literally change yourself from human to chibi form at will by hitting a button for like both characters in your party, and like you go to a world filled with chibi characters, and whether or not you're human or chibi depends on how like they interact with you. But like as a game, it's just Final Fantasy. Like you have an attack menu, like you go in battle screens, you have an attack menu. Like it's just an old ass like Final Fantasy game that's just been like just has an anime layer over it, like in a way that it hasn't before. It has a lot of like fourth wall breaking humor, and it's supposedly, I don't think it's a spoiler territory at all because it's how they marketed it. It's going to include like all the characters from other Final Fantasy series, like for cameos. It is not a serious game at all. It's just like this stupid experiment that seems to have like a budget, and I don't know because I guess it's Squinix, but
is it game of the year? No.
No. I mean, like, I'm going to play this because it's stupid and I enjoy just like mashing attack for like hours. Okay, a big part of this game I'm not like leaving out. It's fucking Pokemon.
Yeah. I think I've seen some gameplay of it.
Yeah.
It looks like straight up Pokemon.
You catch like mirages, or which are like with Pokemon, and then you create something called a stack, which is literally putting the Pokemon on your head. Like in battle, you'll have a stack of like Pokemon on your head, and that will like modify like your stats in battle, and you can also have the option to unstack and have them fight independently in like a traditional battle JRPG screen. So you have something called Imprism, which is when you weaken them and you throw Pokeballs at them. It is such a weird game, and again, like the production quality is really good on it. So I guess Squeenix was just like, I don't know, we're just gonna create the most fan servicey product available. Let's throw in every Final Fantasy thing trope ever, every character ever. Oh, people like Pokemon. Let's like make the gameplay Pokemon meets Final Fantasy. It's a weird ass game. I can't really recommend it to anyone unless like you just like are really itching for like a weird Final. It's the weirdest Final Fantasy I think that has come out like ever. And I've played most of Final Fantasies, including the side ones, and this one is just like a whole new level of just like they were just on a lot of drugs and were like, this seems like people want this, and I'm sure like hardcore Final Fantasy fans love the fan service.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure it's doing real well in Japan.
Yeah, that's probably part of the reason. I imagine it. I wonder if it came out on PC because it struggled on PS4. Because I remember in an earlier podcast, I actually brought up World of Final Fantasy then, and you guys were like, "What the fuck is this game?" I'm like, "No, I promise it came out like a year ago on PSN. There's a full Final Fantasy game that came out." And I remember, I think it was like episode 2 or 3, and you guys, "No, what? What is this?"
I still, if like that means anything, I still like when you brought it up just now. I was like, I don't even know what this game looks like.
It's just like, I mean, it's a full fucking Final Fantasy game made more like, and it's a traditional Final Fantasy game, and like people eat that shit up because people, people want their JRPGs to be more traditional. I feel like more than not, which is why games like Bravely Default like do well.
Yeah,
but That's really all I have to say on World of Final Fantasy.
Do you find yourself finishing JRPGs?
Oh, fuck no. I mean, like, it depends, right?
Right.
Like, I've finished Final Fantasy X, 8, 9. I finished all the mainline Final Fantasies. I finished Final Fantasy 15, I guess the most recent. If you count FF15 as a JRPG, that's the one that I finished to completion most recently.
I don't know. I mean, like, because I'm always very into games that, like, take you a long time just because I feel like it's really satisfying when you finally finish it.
Sure.
And I feel like it lets you develop characters and story and whatever. So, like, you know, the one that I've been kind of playing recently is Persona 5.
Sure, yeah.
And, like, that game is fucking amazing, right?
What are you playing Persona 5 on?
PS4.
PS4, okay. I know this is the first one to come out on, like, a mainline console, right?
Yeah. But it's just
They've
like,
been on PlayStation.
The 3, I thought it was always Vita.
3 came out on PlayStation 2, and 4 came out on PlayStation 2.
Okay.
It's just that PlayStation 2 was like so long ago that like people don't remember because 4 came out on PS2, and then when they remade it, they put it Persona 4 Golden was on Vita, and nobody has a fucking Vita. Right. And then 5 came out like last year, so it took them. I think Persona 4 came out in like, I don't know, 2004. Yeah. So like it took them 13 years for the next Persona, or 12 years for the next Persona to come out. So like,
I've heard a lot about Persona.
There's like a, it's not surprising that people like might have heard of Persona, but they've never seen it, or like they thought it like only came out in Japan or something, like, because it wasn't a highly visible game until recently.
Sure, I've heard a lot about Persona just like throughout the years through other podcasts I listen to and stuff like that. So I feel like I know what it is. I know a decent bit about it, but I've never actually played it.
This is my first one.
It's never been on a platform that's accessible to me.
It's so fucking worth it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've always heard it's really great, and it's definitely up my alley because I enjoy kind of more relaxing JRPGs, which it sounds like what this is.
It's really fun.
It's weird. So like I said, this was my first one, and I've never played like a social simulator kind of game.
I know there's like dating and friendship.
Yeah,
like,
not even like that, but it's like, well, yeah, like the friendship aspect. It's really weird to. I found myself when I was playing because there's like time in the game and like days, so it's like, okay, you want to hang out with Ryu or whatever the fuck his name is, you got it. That'll take this time, and then. Well, you want to study? Well, then now you gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, the way it's split up is it's like AM, PM, and then every day of the week.
So you're trying to make it's one of those games where you're trying to make the most efficient routine.
Yeah, because like there's stuff that can only be done. Like you can only do this on Tuesday night. You can only meet with Kenji on Tuesday night. You can only work out on like Wednesday mornings. You can only go to this class on this day.
Yeah.
And like when you do that, the function of Persona is that like the friendship thing is not just because it's fun, because it is, and it's fun to like expand the story and like meet these characters, but the characters all represent like a tarot card, or they did in 3, and they do in 4. Yeah, they still do. All the way through. Yeah, so all the like the personas that you summon are like based on a tarot card, and they like go down that line, and they have like a basically if they're from a certain tarot card line, they tend to have like wind or fire or electric or whatever. But as you have to like get stronger persona, usually by like melding 2 together, right? And so the way to unlock stronger persona is to go in your real life and make a friendship and like strengthen that bond with the person in real life who represents that tarot card. So like your friend is like the chariot. If you hang out with him a lot, you'll get like chariot max level, and then you can make the strongest chariot persona to use in the dungeons.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
and it's just like this really addicting loop of just like going to the dungeon, leveling up, and then coming out, and then spending time with this person to like build up to get a better persona to go back into the dungeon.
Yeah,
to, like,
I find games with like real strong like core gameplay loops to be the most satisfying. To me.
Persona is a really easy game to just be like turning on, and then you're like, oh, it's nighttime. Like,
I really do want to play it eventually. I just don't have the means to.
It was really weird finding myself like planning out my fucking school week. As this, main character in Japan, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm going like, okay, on Thursday night I'll study.
I think it's awesome though because like you'll get to parts where you're just like, I feel bad because I didn't go hang out with like Ryu, or like I didn't go to that thing. Like
I've been watching my girlfriend play Stardew Valley for like the last 2 months, and I'm just seeing her get sucked into like the scheduling,
the politics,
like the inner workings of Stardew Valley. Because I like tried to play that game a few times. I want deep deep dive in Stardew. But I tried playing that game a few times and like I didn't really get it, and then like kind of vicariously through my girlfriend, like I'm starting to understand like how people put 1,500 hours, and a lot of it is like that strong core gameplay loop and like figuring out like efficient routines for your day.
It's so cool, and like I guess what I was bringing up it for was like I love the game, but it's like finishing it. Like I'm 40 hours deep, and I'm not even like halfway through the game.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
I will always love JRPG. You're right in the sense that the longer the game is, the more rewarding it is, the more invested you are. Sunk cost fallacy. But also that can be a turnoff in the sense that like it's the furthest thing from instant gratification.
Yeah.
Which is like games are now designed around instant gratification, and JRPGs are still like a bold statement. Be like, that's not what this is about. This is about like you investing your time and yourself into this game instead of us just being like, here is a 15-hour bite size. You were 99%. Their completion rate for JRPGs are like so low, right?
Yeah.
Like PS4 makes that data available. See how far people get, what trophies
how many
you earn.
platinums are earned or whatever.
Yeah, and like for JRPGs, that number is so low. Like JRPGs are still one of those genres where you can get away with
It's
being
fucking
like
crazy, dude. I played through Final Fantasy VII so many times. I never got Knights of the Round. I never got the fucking golden, fucking, what the fuck is it called? Chocobo. Yeah. Like, that shit is just, like, so crazy to me. It was just like, I just want to kill Sephiroth. Like, I don't need Knights of the Round. Like,
so moving on a little bit here, do you want to talk about Pokemon? Do you have any strong thoughts on it?
I can talk about it. So Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, which the main consensus that I was getting from people online was that people were kind of disappointed that it wasn't like different enough from Sun and Moon, which is I think
I did play a little Sun and Moon.
So my biggest complaints with the game are that it takes too long to get going, and I guess a function of that, so maybe not two complaints, but that like the cutscenes are unskippable. So if you're playing through for the first time, it's totally fine because like you want to see what's happening and like get the full story and everything. But like when I'm playing through it, the story is basically the same as Sun and Moon, and so like I just like would look at my phone, like I would just like put the DS down and just like like click through the cutscenes without even looking at the screen. And I definitely like paid attention to the story less because it was too similar to the last one, I thought. But still, what they've changed is they've added in, there's like over like 400 catchable Pokemon in this one, which is like more than twice as many were in Sun and Moon, which is really fun. And what they did, if you're like more into Pokemon, like the individual Pokemon like I do, like you can get like crazy Pokemon early that like you never could. You can get a Larvitar at like level 20 something. Is
this on Switch or 3DS?
This is 3DS. This is probably the last like mainline Pokemon game on 3DS. They added in Mantine Surfing, which is a fun like game mode. People are spending a lot of hours just doing Mantine Surfing, which is pretty fun. It's this game mode where like you surf on a Mantine to like travel to the next island instead of taking a boat or flying. And as like you surf, there's like just these gigantic waves that like you have to build momentum, jump up off the wave, do these like crazy tricks, and then land it to get points and get a high score. And like you earn battle points, which lets you buy like really good items and like move tutor moves that like you normally can't get that early, like like Fire Punch and stuff like that. It's really good to get. If you get the top score, a little spoiler kind of Easter egg or hint, if you get the top 4 first places on every island on Mantine Surfing, you get a Pikachu that knows Surf.
Oh, okay.
Which is a fun little callback to Yellow version.
Sure.
And I don't know, like I had these issues with the game when I was first playing it, but the thing that happens to me every time I replay a Pokemon game is like the beginning of Pokemon games, and I would feel like you could say this about like a good number of JRPGs, is just like the beginning of the game when you're like learning the mechanics and like figuring it out like is not that fun. But once you get to that point in like Pokemon games, it's like level like 25 to like the end of the game. Once you're past like level 25 and your Pokemon are getting to like their final evolution and they're finally learning like good moves and the battles are like more exciting, the game is just like as fun as it always has been to me. Like when I was just grinding up through, like once I got past the initial like when you only have shitty Pokemon stage, the game was just like a lot of fun. The little story changes that they made were good and made it more interesting, which is fun to see. The level scaling is really good. I made it by the end of the game. All my Pokemon were like level 70, which I didn't have to like grind at all to do. They added the Team Rainbow Rocket episode at the end, which is like a fun little Easter egg. I felt like it could have been and should have been longer. Yeah, it's a good game. I would recommend it to people who have not played Sun and Moon and want to play a new Pokemon game. Just skip Sun and Moon, play Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, and get Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon if you really like Pokemon, which if you do, you probably already did. So, it's not groundbreaking. It's nothing crazy. It's Pokemon like it always has been. But it's, just as good as it always has been. It's not significantly worse or significantly better. So if you like Pokemon, you'll like it. I guess that's all.
Okay, yeah, all right. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, brought to you by Cirrus. I probably will not ever end up playing it, but it's nice to hear about it. It's good to know about it. So we're going to go on to some news, and we're actually discussing this prior to the podcast, just for a second being transparent. We're going to do news that's more meaningful to us instead of, like, trying to tackle...
loot boxes.
Trying to tackle like every major topic. We're not a 3-hour podcast for now.
Right.
I like that 3.5 hour format. You guys just want to like
give it time.
We can start doing like cocaine off the table and like talking for like 5 hours.
Cocaine. Talk for 3 hours.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know. We're pretty happy with the hour and 20-hour, 30-minute like mark podcast.
Mark.
Yeah. But we want to do news that means a little bit more to us. So one of the things that's been going on kind of that I guess impacted me a little bit more just because I'm pretty invested in the genre as a whole is the closure of Marvel Heroes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you guys...
I never played it.
Yeah, I played it.
You told me you played it a little bit. I played it up till in-game on like 2 heroes and did a little bit of in-game stuff. It was like enjoyed by its community, and it had a pretty dedicated community because the way the combat was and just the way the game was designed in general was probably the closest thing to Diablo 2. A lot of people are still saying... No one actually says Diablo 3 is like Diablo 2. But a lot of people say Path of Exile is like Diablo 2. And I'm just like...
It's made by the same devs, isn't it?
No, not really. Like, they have a Diablo... There might have been a few people originally, and then they did actually... The lead developer of Marvel Heroes was the lead developer on Diablo 2.
No, I thought Path is made by Diablo 2 developers.
So was Marvel Heroes. The lead guy... But here's the thing. Marvel Heroes was designed by the lead guy from Diablo 2, and then he left Marvel Heroes and joined Path of Exile.
Okay.
Oh,
and then this is everything in ARPG is kind of linked like this, but that's when Marvel Heroes started to go downstairs. And just going back to the point I was making, Path of Exile is nothing like Diablo 2. People that say that are just like fucking jaded, and they're just saying it's like an elitist statement to be like, this is the true successor to Diablo, when really like Diablo 2, when like really they're whatever. Like beyond like the basic concept, the Path of Exile is nothing like Diablo 2. Anyway, Marvel Heroes, the lead developer leaves for Path of Exile, and the game starts going downhill. I think I was following Steam charts during that time, and you were on average seeing 2,000 to 3,000 people, which is like not. It seems okay, but not for a fucking Marvel game.
Not for an online kind of game like that.
An online game, and it's a Marvel game.
That's
like
fair.
It should have been a bigger deal. So the game starts going downhill. They start bleeding players. Then they decide they're going to release it for consoles to try to breathe life back into this game. And with that also came a revamp of like all systems in the game, like how you progress in game. Everything got revamped. The community didn't like that. The console launch went horribly, and now we're seeing the game shut down.
Yeah, but like I heard that it was gonna shut down like near the end of December.
Yeah, and then they pushed it up.
And then they put that to literally it happened 2 days.
Because no one was left at the company.
Yeah,
everyone just... that's what I was reading on the message boards, at least from our heroes, is that like everyone's just theorizing that there's just like no one left at... I think it's Gazillion Entertainment. No one was left there to even keep the servers running. I mean...
That's crazy.
When you have... I mean, it's like they're not going to keep... It's because of the IP, right? Like, I think if it was any other game, like if it wasn't a Marvel IP and it was a smaller ARPG, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal.
It wouldn't have been as expensive to keep up because
Yeah.
they definitely
Yeah.
had to pay for a license
They
for
had so many,
yeah.
they had, I think near the end there had, I would guess around maybe 50 plus, like, Marvel
Jeez.
Heroes,
Yeah.
which all were, like, individual classes, right? Like, there was no classes in the game. You just picked a hero, and that's what your character was,
Yeah.
and then you distinguished yourself from other characters through cosmetics, mostly. There was, like, character customizations and PowerPoints and builds, but, like, everyone looked the same, which was one of my initial complaints. Like, there's, like, 50 Iron Mans, like, running around in, like, a hub, and I'm just like, whatever, this is a fucking joke.
My immersion.
My immersion trademark. But that game was always kind of struggling even from the beginning because it was such like a weird thing, and it was also going up against Diablo 3 and Path of Exile, which is like a whole other issue within like the ARPG genre. Is just that these games are so at face value, unless you're putting hundreds of hours into it, they're also fundamentally similar that everyone just like picks one and sticks with it. So you only now what do we have? We have Diablo 3, Path of Exile, and then a little game called Grim Dawn. But beyond that, that's like the ARPG genre for like this hugely successful genre.
Right.
Like in terms of dollar value and like how many players like ARPGs, we have 3 fucking games.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think Blizzard just holds such a huge, like, Blizzard and now Path, like, those are the two giants of the game.
And Diablo
ARPG
3
shit.
is rapidly shrinking. They
Is it?
Yeah, they pretty much have bled their entire player base to Path of Exile. Like the people there are still people playing Diablo 3, but not many at all. I get the sense in the community that there's not many people left playing Diablo 3.
I understand that Path of Exile is a better game, but, like, as a casual ARPG kind of guy who isn't gonna like I'll get to endgame and I'll even progress like through endgame a bit, but I won't get to the point where I'm like min-maxing my endgame build, a ton. I think I go with Diablo 3 more so just because it feels better to play
Yeah.
than Path of Exile.
Yes. They're different games. Diablo 3 is an arcade ARPG. Path of Exile is more of a traditional like RPG ARPG.
Right.
Like it's a fucking role-playing game. Like you're crunching numbers and mechanics and navigating complex skill grids and all that.
They just had like some crazy new
And then
expansion
Marvel
come out,
Heroes
right?
was actually like its existence was kind of cool because in a sense it was like the in-between. Like it wasn't as arcadey. I mean the combat was, but like it wasn't as, let's just say, shallow as Diablo 3 was,
Right.
but it wasn't nearly as like complicated as Path of Exile was, and it was kind of served a really neat niche. So I'm personally kind of sad to see it go, but that's kind of just the reality of this fucking genre. The other thing that happened is Demon Souls online service shutting
Oh
down.
yeah, shit.
I don't know if you guys played much of it.
I played it a little bit.
Played a little bit.
It was a really strange introduction to me. I remember just going over to my friend's house one time, and I was still in high school. I think we were in like 10th grade or something. I just went over to my friend's house, and he was playing it, and I was like, "What is this game?" And he's like, "It's called Demon Souls." And I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's got really good reviews, but I never heard of it." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it was fucking crazy."
Yeah.
And then like I played it a little bit because it was at my friend's house, but he played through it, said it was great. And then like 2 years later, like Dark Souls 1 came out, and people were like freaking the fuck out. And I was just like, "Oh, what? This is that same game. Like, I should have played it back then. I would have been like way ahead of the curve."
I also experienced it like during the phase before Dark Souls. Like I played Demon Souls on PS3 like the day one almost, like or at least within the first week I was following. I was like, this game seems really fucking. I'm gonna play this game. So I was there like I started playing at the beginning of like what would eventually become like the juggernaut it is today. And in a lot of ways, it's still my favorite Souls game. And in a lot of ways, I love that it had a hub world, basically, which eventually was put back in the game. But I was never a fan of Dark Souls 1, like, open labyrinth. Like, I always just thought it was, like, a pain in the ass to navigate. personally. But
I disagree.
Kind of.
Because
I know most people disagree with that, but
because you still have like Firelink Shrine is
Yeah.
the hub, you
and
know.
part of Dark Souls 1 is you learn the map. Like,
Yeah, you learn
unlock
the map and you
shortcut.
open the shortcuts, and then it's like really connected. That's like one of the biggest strengths that people always talk about Dark Souls 1 compared to the other Dark Souls, is that like that map feels so much more connected than all the other ones.
And I played some Demon Souls. I didn't beat it, but I definitely did not like how it was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this level now, and it was like,
see, I like that. I like the kind of bite size, which I think is how we'll probably end up talking about Neo next week or sometime in the near future. We'll end up talking about Neo. But I think that's how Neo is. It's how Bloodborne.
Yeah,
is.
Neo is just like not a lot of exploration. It's just like, here's the mission, like go do the mission.
I like Demon Souls because it was that kind of distilled like experience.
Yeah,
and it's still like definitively like I would need to go back and play it, but like how I remember it in my head is like the combat wasn't inherently like worse than the other games. Like I kind of did Dark Souls combat ever really evolve? Like at its core, it was still always.
They've just made it faster.
Yeah,
that's all.
It's always stamina.
They added in
Yeah.
the parries, and then the Bloodborne, the counter that you can do with the shotgun.
I think it's
that's like the
always,
big
like,
change, but that's it really.
Overall, it always has just like felt good though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I think that's true for Demon Souls.
Yeah.
But I thought Demon Souls was a really tight game, and I'm sad to see the online service shutting down, but that's like kind of an inevitability. In
Some
this
people are hopeful that there's going to be a Demon Souls remaster coming out. Because like a lot of people started with Dark Souls and never played Demon Souls because it was only on console, and it was only on PlayStation. I don't think it came out on
was
Xbox.
only on PlayStation 3.
So like a lot of people missed out on Demon Souls, and they know that, and like they have so much like clout now, so much reputation that like people would know it's like a Demon Souls
2.
either Demon Souls 2 or a HD Demon Souls
Didn't
remaster.
they say they were stepping away from the Soul series?
Yeah,
Kamiya. Oh yeah, Miyazaki, not Kamiya. Said that. So
implied by a statement that Bloodborne was included in like Souls. Like when he said that, I think he came out and said that he was working on some like sci-fi type.
Hell
game.
yes.
that'd be
dude.
fucking
I
dope,
don't know if
dude,
it's gonna be
because
like-
I really wanted the Surge to be really good, and it was.
I never.
No, I
played
heard it. I heard it was good.
Yeah,
I heard it
it
was
was
good, but not like that good. I
not,
just
like,
want. I didn't want Dark
crazy
Souls
good.
to be sci-fi. That's all. It'd be fucking amazing. I would love that shit, dude.
Do you know what I want? Fucking Cyberpunk 2077
yeah.
or whatever. The
Yeah,
but that
whenever.
shit's not coming out for a long ass
I know,
time.
But
dude.
you know it will come out.
Oh,
at
yeah.
least,
Eventually.
right? Like CD Projekt Red is.
They'll whip their employees into shape.
Yeah.
They've apparently had some bad shit going on over
I
there.
heard that like it's developed in Poland or whatever,
Yeah.
and like I think they met with Obama at some point or something. No, well, like Poland did, and like the government of Poland, and they were like had to have they needed to show like good things that have come out of Poland, and like Witcher was one of them. So they like showed Obama like Witcher. I'm pretty sure this is a thing that happened. I was watching a stream or a podcast the other day, and they were just like joking about like as soon as Obama like retired or whatever, he just like sat at home with his wife like Witcher 3, and like
Just hunt
Michelle was like
monsters,
backseat driver. It's like, why didn't you pick up that herb? And like, it was just like a funny bit in our podcast. But I'm pretty sure like Poland like came out and like was like, yeah,
culturally relevant.
yeah,
Yeah.
What's most culturally relevant to us? Witcher 3. But I know like kind of in the more niche communities online, people are already like pining for someone to set up like a Demon Souls like private server, like have somehow the PS3, because they did it with like Phantasy Star, right? Like you can get a Dreamcast and like
Yeah, you can still play it. Yeah.
yeah, you can connect it to like
That's so
Fantasy.
crazy,
It's
dude.
fucking. I love shit like that. So maybe we'll see like a Demon Souls like
Yeah.
private
Jesus
server.
Christ,
You can like
people
connect-
are crazy.
I
Demon
love it.
Souls.
I love
They're
that.
just like, hey, I like that game. You like that game? All right, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a private server about it. We're gonna keep it alive.
following like emulator and private server communities is just some of the most entertaining shit you will, and people do the coolest things. Like I was talking to you guys earlier, like what was it? I was talking about WoW Cataclysm as a streaming client that connects to Blizzard servers, which is super illegal. But I don't know how they're
we
doing
don't
this.
condone that here. At the
Yeah,
Casual
we don't
Toxic
condone
Podcast.
this type of.
Couldn't do it
also-
if we wanted to.
Also, it's cool as fuck. The other thing I was talking about that was really neat was the Wii U emulator Cemu has like you can update ROMs for like emulated games from Nintendo servers. Like, you can download updates. Like, it's just, like, integrated.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. I don't know how people do this. I mean, I have a little bit of an idea, but not. It's some crazy
pure magic. That's how I think that
jargon.
same thing.
Yeah, sure. Magic. I mean, I don't know. I used to think programming was like super magical, and then I studied it, and
I'm
now
studying it. I still think it's magical, dude.
you'll start losing some of the magic in it, and you'll be like, this is actually just like very simple. You'll get there.
Okay.
I believe in you.
All right, thanks.
For the record, for anyone listening, Ian and I are both computer science majors. That's pretty much going to wrap up episode 7 for the Casually Toxic podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, correct? That's still a thing.
Casually Toxic.
At Casually Toxic. You can find us on YouTube, but if you're listening to us, you're already on YouTube. System we have in place
Hell
there.
yeah.
We might be, depending on how things go, I'm not making any promises, but I'm going to start looking into getting us a website. I'm going to have some time over Christmas break before I enter my last semester of college. And provided that I can fit in enough time there, I really want to get us a dedicated website where we can just have feeds on there. And
it's going to be the coolest website. Matt's a website design genius, all right?
mean,
And any other website you think is good, throw that shit in the way. It's garbage, all right? Matt's creating the best website ever.
so I'm going to use squarespace.com. Please sponsor us. That would be great. And I'm going to the biggest thing that I want is just a simple way for people to go to a website and hit play and see when our episodes were and go back and listen to our first garbage podcast that we did over Discord. Before we still don't have any idea what we're doing. Yeah, good times.
Back when we had still less of an idea.
Less of an idea. We still don't have an idea. Anyway, this has been Casually Toxic, episode 7. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, have a great week. We'll be back in about 2 weeks, and we're also going to be having our Game of the Year Battle Royale coming up. So we'll see you guys then.